Okay, in this video, we're going to go over how to add a scoring system into the game. A few people have requested this, so I thought I would make a video about it. It's not that hard. It should only take a few minutes, and we'll see about attaching it to the HUD as well. Okay, so this can be a score, or like you can have this as cash. Doesn't matter really. It's just the way you name it is what it's going to be in the game. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up a variable inside a first person character, okay? And I'm just going to call this here points, all right? So, and I'm going to change it to an integer. Don't need it to be a float because it's not going to have any decimal points. But if yours is, like you probably want to choose a float. So we're going to go integer and compile that. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we're going to open up our AI, okay? Because here in our AI, we have our event deal damage, and this is coming from a blueprint interface, where we take health off the AI and then we check if it's dead. Then we spawn, well, I spawn an explosion, and then I contact my first person character and I add it to a score. So I've already done this, have I? Let me see. I have. All right. So there we go. We don't need this. We've already got the code for it. Okay, so we've got this score on our character. I wonder if I've got this on my HUD. Let me just check. God, I can't even remember doing this. Where's my UI? All lecture. That's AI lecture. Test. First person HUD. Yeah, we don't have it on our thing. Okay. Let's start from the start on this. So, in my first person character, I've got a variable called score. Okay. Set it to 0. It's an integer. And then in my AI test, what I've done is in that section where we're dealing damage through a blueprint interface, we're checking if it's dead. I spawn an explosion. What I do then is I cast my first person character using the get player character um, node as my object identifier. And once I'm in there, what I do is I set the score by getting the current score and adding 20 to it. Now, if you wanted to be smart about this and you've got some child AI, you probably want to like promote this to a variable, and we call it like points, so that if we ever made a child of this here, we can go into the class defaults and change the number of points that new class or that child class gives to the player. So you could have like a really tough enemy that gives more points, a really weak enemy that gives like very few points, and then like a medium enemy that gives, a middling amount of points. And it just adds a bit of variety to it as well. And that's it. So that's, adding the score to our player now, and then the AI just destroys. Make sure that you do anything before you have this destroy actor, because if this was to happen after the destroy actor, sure, this actor's already dead, so this code wouldn't be able to complete. So make sure that you do that. Now, in our first person HUD, uh, what we can do is we can bring in a new bit of text. So let's see if I grab text, okay, and I just call this score. Score that. And I get another bit of text, and I put in like 000, trying to line this up as best as I can. And I'm going to get the anchors for both of these and put them down the bottom right, just so that if we're ever changing this, the size of our screen, it will stay that way. Um, and then with this score text, we're going to create a bind here for the text element. So create a bind. Um, let's change this to like score text, just so we know what it is. And with this here, we are just going to cast to first person character, get player character, get our score, and plug this into the return node. Now remember, when you plug it in, it's going to do a conversion node for you. So don't freak out when this new node comes along. And that is it. So compile. Press play. I'm starting to think that this is not the HUD that I've been using. So let's see. Lecture HUD. There we go. So this is it. So I'm going to just grab this stuff, copy. Can I paste it? Oh, don't tell me I can't paste it. Copy. No, it won't let me paste it. Well, I can go into my event graph and maybe change what HUD we are using. So it's going to be first person HUD or first P HUD. First P HUD. There we go. This is what happens when you do live videos at home. And this is not showing. Oh my God. Why is that not showing? There we go. I'm going to delete this for now. Plug this in. Here we go. Okay, so there we are. We got our score. I'm going to go over now and kill an enemy. This wave 1, 2, 3 is not going to disappear because this HUD hasn't been set up for it. So don't worry about that. But you can see now that my score's gone up 20. And that's basically how you have a score. You know, if you're going to develop a shop or anything like that, all you have to do is make sure that your points or whatever cash or whatever score that you have, basically that storefront checks how much money you have, takes the money off, and then gives you that item. So that's how you add a score in. Really, really simple. Sorry to make it a bit more complicated. I've got a few HUDs in here just based off the lectures and other video series that I was doing. So I put it into the wrong one, unfortunately. So yeah, that's how you do that. I think there's going to be another video coming up as well, so check that one out.